How's it going, cryptocurrency community and people who are betting on Bitcoin? Of course, today I'll be talking about a multitude of topics, including Cardano and the future that is awaiting this developing technology and the broader cryptocurrency space. We're going to start off the video with a little tweet here by our friend Pomp. Reminder, the smartest people in the world are working on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Probably not smart to bet against them. Pretty well-worded analysis, I would say, and I'm sure plenty of people will be eating those words in the coming paradigm shift. So we're going to be speaking on the broader altcoin market, of course, and of course I would like to expand out to discuss the future that we could expect to see when it comes to Cardano and why this could be one of the most important cryptocurrencies in as far as we could see the overall humanity sort of aspect of how Cardano is approaching the global stage. And notwithstanding, Cardano is certainly involved in their analysis a certain degree of developing countries, I would say, which is a good point to be made, and I think an interesting time to lead off on that sort of banking of the unbanked. And I think one of the better arguments to be made around this subject is, of course, talking about the fact that many people in what we would call the first world, and including the second world, they don't necessarily have a need for Bitcoin at this moment. You have a bank account, you have all these other options available for you, and of course this is probably one of the greater distractions at the current point. There's much faith in the old paradigm. And while we're seeing sort of a similar situation play out when it comes to the altcoins right now in the world of Bitcoin, we have sort of a similar rhyme and reason to make the same extrapolation of logic. The Bitcoin dominance being at 70% of the entire space, 70.1% to be exact. Now, although today was a pretty interesting day for those who chose to hodl through the storm, of course, we had seen Bitcoin's price drop down to those 9,500 levels, and in that same fashion that Bitcoin often goes, then bounced back up to 10,300, and now we're waiting to see what the next move is going to be. And of course, it is very interesting to see how the space has been playing out. And I think that it is an interesting point to be made when we look at something like Cardano and how the space often overlooks these developing technologies in much the same way that a large proportion of the world is overlooking a lot of these different aspects of the work that Cardano has been doing in a lot of these areas of the world that actually have less red tape around the cryptocurrency, and a lot less of a stigma when it comes to banking the unbanked due to a disparity in the options that are actually available, which I would actually see as one of the most interesting things. The fact that there's so many there's so much dormant potential that's actually going to be unleashed when we're talking about the availability of smartphones, and of course the broader implications of that go as far as just take one look at the brand new cell phones, and they're beginning to be integrated with cryptocurrency wallets. Now, if that doesn't tell you, if that writing on the wall isn't enough for you, then I, of course, don't have much to say. Now, of course, these things, they're all interesting to point out, but your question is probably, when moon, the freaking moon boys out there, and it is interesting to see how people expect to see, and I think that it's interesting to talk about, in that same frame of reference, to definitely have that discussion about, people still think of cryptocurrency as get rich quick sort of thing, and I think people need to take a step back, realize that we are in 2019. It's not 2011 anymore. Of course, there's plenty of the smartest people all around the world in this space right now. And we're all, and of course the market, Bitcoin, all these different things being heavily manipulated. Really, one of the only strategies that you could really go with would be something like just buy and hodl and wait, and whatever you put in, prepare to lose. And that's not the sort of and of course gambling with altcoins is in and of itself. Many people would say, one of the funnier things that I actually heard one of you saying was, why not just buy a lottery ticket, instead of buying an altcoin? Now, of course, that's pretty stupid. I mean, I'd rather have a fat bag of XRP, and $10 worth of XRP, whatever the value is going to be in the future, rather than the lottery ticket that's going to lose its value overnight. Once they do the draw and the date passes, but that's all just up in the air. I mean, it's just a sort of funny anecdote. But to that same extent, I mean, with a lot of these different altcoins, you are gambling. Not necessarily even the top 100. You could pretty much make a pretty valid argument for any of the top 100 cryptocurrencies on here, and see it more as an investment. But I mean, the further down the list you get, excluding many others, there are plenty of carbon copies of other technologies that really don't have much potential, in this humble YouTuber's opinion, of course. But of course, I'm still remaining fairly bearish when we talk about Bitcoin. In the short term, I would say the entire market right now is overvalued. I think that I'm personally, I'll remember this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I have to say that in every video. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but I personally am waiting for the market to be on sale even further beyond where we are right now. I see the writing on the wall, the short term for Bitcoin. I would say what we've seen happen in this past, shooting up to 14,000 and the residual, the summer, Bitcoin comeback from, the 3,000s was a pretty fun ride. And of course, for anybody who is playing the day on this sort of, environment, certainly, kingdoms rise and fall every single day with cryptocurrency as an investment class, and as the casino game that it really is at its heart. As much as people like to consider technical analysis, at the end of the day, you might as well just have a couple of lucky rabbit's foot and all these other things, all these other just gambling trophies that people use as mementos to try and get themselves to think. If that stuff works, let me know. When are the rabbit's foots actually gonna moon is the real question. So of course, September, big month for Cardano. Updates from Charles Hoskinson. Cardano will be making waves this September, with Charles Hoskinson confirming that the proof of stake Shelley testnet will launch ahead of schedule. This is on top of several other big updates, along with 2 more announcements that are yet to be revealed. Shelly testnet going live as early as mid-September, with promises of change. The world of blockchain. Cardano has been one of the most heavily discussed crypto projects in the past couple of 2019. In the broader conversation that we've been seeing happening, and I think that it will be interesting to see Cardano make that transition into the Shelley era. It is an interesting perspective, and I think I do share, in that potential. I think the potential for Cardano to moon, as its technology develops. I think Cardano really is an interesting altcoin, especially at the price. Like I said, I expect short term. I'm waiting for much more blood in the water. I think that the fear and greed index is well and away pointing towards fear, and I'm ready for those weak hands to sink the ships. And then of course those of us who've been waiting will be able to snatch our crypto and fill our bags at the appropriate moment. Now, of course, remember, this is just my opinion on the current space, so you guys have to do your own research and come to your own conclusions and make those moves as strategically as you see fit. But I think that anybody who buys Bitcoin in the next, even if you bought Bitcoin at $20,000 and you're still holding a full a full Bitcoin, I honestly think that, as long as you're able to not psych yourself out long term, I don't think any purchases of cryptocurrency will be regretted, other than lost Bitcoin and lost wallets and all those other things. But that's not, that's beside the point. But yeah, regardless, I mean, I am using the Brave browser right now. The future is happening right in front of our eyes, and I think Cardano will be an interesting project. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Cardano, in particular this September, what we can expect to see. And all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this content, my analysis. See you guys next video. Have a good one.